Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Manchester City host Tottenham in the Premier League. The last time City lost a game was against Jose Mourinho's Tottenham when they were in the title race, when they were flying high. But you fast forward 22 games. 22 games, by the way, in 3 months is absolutely astronomical. City have broken records, 15 straight wins in all domestic competitions. Sorry, across all competitions. Which is a new record for an English side. Tottenham has kind of gone the other direction. They have got through to a final, which they play against City in a few weeks' time. But there is absolute division amongst the ranks of Tottenham fans about the future of Jose Mourinho. I'm joined by two massive fans of each team. We're joined by Jan. We know Jan, it's Jan City, Man City fan. And of course, our host of the Tottenham podcast, Eleanor, is here. How are you both?
I'm good. Just dreading this game, really, but I'm good.
Yeah, you are. Obviously, Jan, you must be absolutely sky high at the moment, happy with everything that's going on at City.
Yeah, City are where they need to be. I looked a bit stupid at the start of the season because I was like, don't worry about City, we'll be fine. And everyone was like, you're 12 or whatever we were at the time. So, yeah, it's nice to see City kind of doing what I expected them to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the contrast from the beginning of the season till now is crazy in the sense of when it first kicked off, I felt like from November last year through to the end of the season, City weren't great, especially domestically in the league. And they started this season off the same way. And I just thought, you know what, the pet reign is coming to an end. Nobody looks happy. It isn't clicking. And then bang, the last 22 games, it's really come alive. The last 15 especially. And yeah, absolute egg on my face in relation to that. Eleanor, from your point of view, you know, I think it's six defeats you've had since you beat City 3 months ago. The fans are divided in terms of what should happen. So how are you feeling ahead of this game emotionally as a Spurs fan?
I'm worried that our expected goal ratio is going to catch up on against us. We always tend to somehow get through that game against City, even under Poch. I don't know how we were getting through some of these games, like last season. Not last season, before when we got that handball right at the end, the VAR decision. It's just we somehow get a point against City at least. But I think it's going to catch up to us right now. I don't even think we've got the fight in us to try and get that random point or those random 3 points. I'm not sure, obviously, because of the way we played against West Brom and the way we played against Everton, but I just don't think they're really brought into the situation that's going on. They're not brought into Jose Mourinho, I don't feel. So I'm a bit worried about it. I don't know if we will manage to scrape it this time or if it will catch up to us.
I mean, yeah. He's been a fixture in the last couple of seasons. Well, since Jose's been at Tottenham, he has got the best of you on a couple of occasions. Are you concerned that history could repeat itself again tomorrow?
Yeah, it's actually interesting, our record against Spurs, because I did research it a while ago, and we've actually got the same amount of wins as we have losses. And obviously then there's like 36 draws or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's 76 wins each or something crazy like that.
It's quite a good record.
Yeah, we do go through periods where we just beat Spurs, you know, for a certain amount of time and they can't beat us. And then we go through periods where we just can't beat them. So it's a bit strange. I think that game that Alan is talking about where they got the draw, City completely outplayed Spurs in that game. And I do not know how we can win it. Yeah, so I'm not always that confident for Spurs. They're a bit of a bogey side for us. But I think the way we're playing at the moment and the way they're playing at the moment, we should be winning. So I'd expect City to go out and win it, especially being at home as well. And our home record against Spurs isn't too bad. We tend to do better at home than we do away. So I'm hoping that we go and win it. But yeah, our record's a little bit dodgy against Spurs. So I do think Spurs will set up very defensively because obviously against Everton, they tried something a bit differently and it didn't work. So I don't think they can afford to concede sort of 5 goals to Man City because in that case, they won't win the game. So, yeah, I think they'll go very defensive again.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And losing again, I mean, we mentioned there's been 6 defeats since they beat you. However, that would be the 5th defeat in the last 6 games, which is when you start to look at that, the pressure is going to mount up hugely. You know, the Europa League starting as well. So there's no respite for this team. There isn't really time to sort of, I know Spurs fans want, and I know Eleanor is one of them, wants to see a more attacking approach from Jose Mourinho, but there isn't the time to implement it. Jose is just, for this season, it's play the way Jose plays, demand your players give everything that they've got and see what you can yield, because every time you deviate from that, it tends to be when it kind of goes wrong, El.
Yeah, I totally get that. You have a point. I mean, seeing that against Everton as well. You can't just go from one extreme to the other. Totally understandable. I mean, I totally agree when you said that. But the problem that I have is they don't seem bought into playing this defensive football. They kind of look like down and out. They're not trying. They don't look like they're trying or fighting, putting everything. Because when you play that sort of football, you got to put everything on the line. You got to give everything to your manager. And they just don't look bought into it when they are playing that football. I mean, there was talks about, yes, that he's still popular in the dressing room, but they don't want to play this football. That was after the Chelsea game. There was a lot of talks about that. So I feel like he was almost forced into playing a different approach, but it just didn't work. So hopefully they do go back to giving him everything and putting everything on the line, because that's the only way this football's going to work. We don't have the defenders to be able to defend for all that time. We're not great defensively, so we need everyone to put their all in. It's like a team effort to get results like that. When you play attacking, you can get a few fluky goals, but you will obviously leak more. We cannot afford to do that against City because they'll absolutely destroy us. But it's just, I think that was more, we got people in the box, we got more goals. But overall, we can't expect that all the time because we don't have the time to train for it.
Yeah, I agree. You can't be that open against City, even without KDB, who I believe is still out injured. They just come to life. And you sort of think with City's team at the minute, they've had Aguero out, like Nathan Ake, I know he wasn't playing, but he's out. Fernandinho has been out for some games, KDB, but the click is just there. And one of the players who I think, barring the front line, you have to look out for, Silky Ilky, as David calls him, Gundogan in the middle, just sublime performances at the moment. Yeah, and I know we spoke about this last week ahead of the Liverpool game, but he just seems to get better and better every week.
Yeah, I love Gundogan. I think he was very underrated by our fans, but he has always turned up in the big games. He's always been quite good in Europe and against the top six. But I think people were finding him a little bit slow with Rodri when he was playing a more defensive role. But now he's been allowed a little bit more space. Yeah. And to sort of be more attacking, you see in the best of him. And, there's a reason why he was Pep's first signing. Like, he's a fantastic player. And I think he's finally getting the credit that he deserves. So it's nice to see. He's just been on fire this season, like unreal. And, he's getting goals now that he wasn't really getting before. And assists, everything. He's just everywhere. And, he's having the best season that I've seen him have. It's just nice to see like him getting his credit. He's now said today that he thinks he will retire at Man City, which is good news for us. So I'm happy with him at the moment, and hopefully he turns up against Spurs, because we tend to struggle a little bit against Spurs for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Do you feel that the Jose Pep element has anything to do with that at all? Because them two have kind of had this. They've had such a. I don't know if it's because it's not always been in the Premier League, but they've always had that sort of Fergie Wenger type rivalry between the two of them. Do you think that sometimes gets into Pep Guardiola's head? Do you think maybe he tries something too cute for these games? If he just lets his team go out there and play their normal game in the right positions, he shouldn't have too many problems with this Spurs team, considering they can't, as you said, they can't keep the clean sheet. They can't win a game, really.
Yeah, I think in the 2-0 earlier in the season, I think Man City kind of played possession football like we normally do, and we just kind of conceded the 2 shots that we had against us, and that's kind of how it went. I think City's defence have improved since then. Obviously, Diaz is settled into the team. Ederson is making a lot more saves than he was previously and stuff like that. So I feel like this time we should be better defensively. In terms of Pep and Jose, obviously, they have the history that they have. I think off the pitch, they're friends, but on the pitch, it's football rivalry. So I think Pep's only ever lost a final to Jose. So that's kind of in the back of his head, maybe. But I'd expect City to, push on now, hopefully. And, you know, it's a bigger game than it's been in previous seasons. I know last season when they drew with us, it was at the start of the season. And City were actually playing really, really well until that game. And after that game, we sort of, our heads dropped and then we kind of fell off a little bit. And then that's when Liverpool kind of went a bit clear and we just weren't really in the title race. But yeah, I think we'll have to see what happens. But I'd think that Pep in this time knows that these 3 points are key, especially because we've got Everton coming up, we've got Man United coming up. So we kind of need to get these points. Being at home, it's vital that we get the points. So hopefully.
110%. I think as a Man United fan looking at this game, I'm hoping and praying for a Jose masterclass. and not so much because I still think City are going to win the league from this point. In the last 2 weeks, my thought on who are favourites has switched from Liverpool to Man City based on your form. I mean, when you actually look at it here, 15 wins in your last 15 games, 40 goals scored, 10 clean sheets, only 5 goals conceded. It just 1 goal every 5 games you concede. Not 1 goal every 5 games, a goal every 3 games you're conceding, and absolutely astronomical. Your favourites of the league. But from a Man United fan's point of view, I want you to drop some points, not so that I think we can win the league, more so that we can stay on your shoulder. Because by the time you do pull away from us, which will happen inevitably because you're better than we are, when we look around, we're 12 points safe in the top 4. I want us focusing on City and not looking behind us. So I kind of want to stay within touch. If you start pulling away, then we get dragged into that pack. But Eleanor, from your point of view, as I just said, 15 wins out of 15, 10 clean sheets, 40 goals scored. How does Jose Mourinho and your Tottenham team beat them on Saturday?
I mean, like I said, I think we're going to get absolutely mullered. I think it's going to catch up to us all these times, because even under Poch, like, it's not just been the Jose Pep rivalry. Even under Poch, we seem to do well against City. It's just been every time we go there, it's like, I think we're going to lose. And then somehow we do it. I mean, not that we've deserved it, but, we have done it. So, yeah, I just think that it's a game where it's going to be fine margins. I think it's going to be very, very fine margins. I think that we're going to have to literally set up really, really defensively. We're going to have to set up to not concede many, because we're not going to be able to get many off them. They're defensively solid. So I think that the only way we're going to have to do this is try hit them on the counter and be clinical, and hopefully Kane and Son have a good game, because that's the only hope we have. Not that I'm overly confident. I'm just praying and hoping we can actually do something, because I worry about that. I saw the expected goal from the last game. 2 games ago, they had 8. They were 8.25, and we were like 1.25 or something, and we managed to win 2-0. I mean, this is catching up to us. I fear we'll just do like a proper hammering. Hopefully not, though.
Well, I suppose in theory, you scored 4 goals against Everton, but in terms of conceding, you got your hammering the other day. It's just that you think about your goals, to be honest with you, your goals, like 3 of them were from corners that their goalkeeper just didn't really do too well with. So you didn't really open. It wasn't like you were opening Everton up with ease.
Yeah, well, the thing is, with corners,
maybe that's your battering out the way.
Yeah, well, with corners, with us, it's funny because we hardly get in their box. We're hardly in the opposition's box to get corners. So it's like that game, we were there a lot. We managed to get these get these corners in through the way we were playing. Normally, we're in the box like 2 or 3 times, and we have to be clinical. So we're not going to get to be able to have these set pieces just as much as we did against Everton. It was a very different way of playing against Everton. We were actually in the final third a lot more than we normally are. Not to say that's the best way to play against City, because I don't expect it to. That'll be very naive. But overall, the goals we did score from corners, it is because we're just generally in the box more.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I do hear that. I think, do you know what I said about this game? I would throw XG out the window. I would throw expectations out the window. It's a top 6 clash. And do you know, the one thing I'd say is this, even in the first half with Liverpool versus City the other day, it was close. It reminded me of the first City-Liverpool game where neither team really wanted to go out and attack. And I still think there's this, I've been really harsh this year on the way Man United have approached a lot of their big 6 games. But up until the City-Liverpool second half, where City's goal was a bit of poor defending and a dodgy penalty, and then 2 really bad goalkeeping mistakes from Alisson. That was the real difference. Until that point, it was a fairly even game. I don't think City are going to go. City will blow you apart if you defend badly. If you're easy to open up, City will pass through you. But I think you'll find the first 50, 60 minutes, City will be fairly. They'll go into this game almost in second gear and then look to elevate. I just get the sense when all the top 6 are playing each other, it's like everybody's happy to draw, which I've never really seen before. Plus, it's the first season ever that there's been more away victories than home victories. So there is always these little things in the back of the minds, but it's one of those on paper where you would say right now there's no chance that Spurs can win. But as soon as you say that, Spurs win. And if you get where I'm coming from, Jan, from your point of view, do you look at City now as the outright favourites and that you should be winning the league from this point?
I'd say so. I think City, we have the experience to go on and win the league. That's what I thought at the start of the season when we were discussing the title race, and City weren't actually at the top. I think it was Liverpool and Man United. And I was actually saying that I think if it comes to it and it's Ole against Klopp or Pep, I can see Klopp or Pep coming out on top just because the experience and the experience of the squad players actually having been and done that and won the league before. So I did think that. Obviously now City are top with a little bit of a gap. I know, like you say, that can all change. I think you lose 2 games at the minute, you're right back in there, and everyone's right behind you. So City have to make sure that we continue to win and obviously hope that other teams drop points as well. That always helps. But yeah, I think where we are now, I would expect City to go on and win it. Obviously, we will drop points. I'm not denying that. But I think Man United will drop more points than Man City, just based on how the season's gone so far. So I would like to think that even if we do drop points, the teams sort of below us are also dropping points. So yeah, I'd expect City to go on and win it, but I don't think it will be running away with it this season. I think everyone's a little bit too inconsistent. But it's just whether you can go on a run, because if Man United can go on a run like City, then it could be a different story. But right now, seems like
love that.
The only ones.
But I'd love that. I mean, thanks for being so lovely and polite. Elle, from your point of view, if you don't win tomorrow, or it's a negative result, so you don't get a point, you don't win, would you pretty much concede that your top 4 race is over, because you could find yourself 7+ points away from a top 4 position by the end of the weekend? And I know that there'll still be sort of, I think 14 games left to go. But as you say, everyone's inconsistent. So bridging back that 7-8 point gap, when you're likely to lose points in that period as well, would you pretty much write that off as a Spurs fan, top 4 being finished if you don't get points this weekend?
I mean, as a Spurs fan, I think I would write it off as in we can't make that up. But if you're talking about it mathematically, everyone's dropping points. It will be hard to be like, yeah, we're totally out of it. But for me, I just don't think Spurs have it in us with this season, with the way we're playing, the way things are, the negative feel around certain things. I don't see us making that back up. I feel like we definitely need to start getting some points in the league. Like, okay, Mark started with West Brom, and then obviously to have City on the bounce of that, it's very hard because you can't play the same way we did against West Brom, which got us the result. So I think it's hard to say we're totally out of it, but for me, I don't think if we don't win or get a point at least, I don't think we're really much in that race. I would say it's hard to, I think that whole block is going to be really tight because everyone's very inconsistent. But I think, Chelsea are coming back up. I think Arsenal are just as inconsistent as us, to be fair. We were laughing at them, and then they're pretty much on the same sort of patterns as we are. So I just feel like that block is very tight, so it is hard to say we're totally out of it. But as a Spurs fan, trying to be realistic about the situation and not just hoping, I don't think we'll make it. But yeah, I can hope and pray. But yeah, let's hope that we don't have to worry about that and hope we get a point at least tomorrow.
I hear you on that. Everyone who's tuning in, do me a favor and smash the like button first of all, right now. Hit it. then subscribe to the Football Terrace and turn on the bell notification button. It's really important that you do that. We're going to move on to doing the combined 11s in a few moments' time. I mean, I don't know how I don't know how Tottenham get a player into this team, but the viewers can certainly help us pick this combined 11 today. We're going to do 4-3-3. It's always a little bit easier to do that than 4-2-3-1. So we're going to do a 4-3-3. We're going to move on to doing that, but we need you to smash the like button first of all. That's important that you get that done. Before we do that, ladies, I want to take your score predictions ahead of this game before we move into the combined 11 phase. I'm going to go to Eleanor first of all. What's the score and result going to be?
Oh gosh, let's hope we don't concede too many. I'm gonna go. This is positive. I'm gonna go positive. 1-1 draw. But that's me being positive. Me being realistic, it will probably be like 2-1 to City or 3-1 to City. But for the sake of me trying to back this team and get them some life, I'm gonna say 1-1.
1-1. I like that. That's a bit of positivity. Jose Ian will be trending then. From your point of view, Jan, score prediction and result, please.
Yeah, I think it'll be a tight game. Son loves a goal against Man City, so I think they will score. I think it'll be 2-1. City are a lot more clinical than we were the first time we played Spurs, so I think we will score the chances that come to us. So yeah, I think 2-1 City.
I hear that. I'm going to go for 2-0 City. I think City will get the win. There's no doubt. Some of the comments coming in here from people. Chris thinks it's going to be 4-1 to City. You can get your questions in as well for our two panelists today. Of course, member chats and super chats always take that priority. Gistek here thinks 3-1 Spurs. Can you imagine? 3-1 Spurs result would be epic. It'd be absolutely epic. It really could. AFC Rashford says 3-1 to City. Chris here thinks 4-1 City. Twisted Bubba, one of our members, says 3-0. I mean, Harry Doherty here, he's gone a bit mad. 12-0 City. But could you imagine? Do you think if
he
you
would
get
have to get sacked? He would have to get sacked there.
Well, yeah, 12-0 definitely. I mean, what kind of result, El, do you think it would take for Jose Mourinho to be on the edge of losing job or lose it, like a 4-0, 5-0, 6-0? Is there a kind of result that could come out that could absolutely just make all the Spurs faithful say, listen, enough's enough?
I think it's more about how we play. I think if we play and we actually we're fighting, not just attacking, like forgetting that, just fighting for the team and getting just trying, because against Chelsea and in some games recently, it just looks like they're not fighting for the team. They don't look like they were even playing for him at one point. So I don't know if it's per se, like, let's say we lose 2-1, but we were in the game till the end. We looked like we were in the game. I don't think he's on the edge. Neeks, stop.
I think Neeks is speaking the truth here. I think he's right. You'd love to get beat 12-0 so he gets sacked.
I never want my team to lose. Let me just throw that out there. But yeah, I think it depends on how we play. I think if we play and we look like we're down and out, we didn't even have a chance, not just because of their quality, but we just look like we weren't even trying, then I think he is on the edge. And then we've got the Europa game. I feel like when we have the Europa game, if he gets knocked out and it looks really bad, then maybe. But overall, I just think it depends on how we play. It depends on how we approach the game. If we approach the game very negatively, don't have one shot in the 90 minutes like we nearly did against Chelsea, then there will be outrage, as you saw after. So definitely tune in here.
we definitely saw that. Gemma's joined us for the combined 11. Some more of the Terrace FC crew might be here very, very soon. But make sure you're smashing the like button. Share this on your social media streams. We're going to delve in. Before we do that, though, Gem, do you give any hope at all for Tottenham this weekend?
No. I mean, let's be serious. What hope have they got? Manchester City are away 14, 15 match unbeaten run at the moment. The beast has woken, and they're up against a team that has a bunch of frauds in defence against blimmin' Sterling. I heard that KDB's training now. I heard that Aguero's training now.
Gundogan.
All right, they might not start, but they might be on the bench. They don't even need them. They've got Foden on fire, man on fire. Like, honestly, I'm not even joking. Like, I the only way I see Spurs winning this game is defending for 90 minutes, hoping that Man City missed the target and they could play on the counter with Son and Kane and nick one. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's going to happen. And the thing is, Man City are a better defensive outfit than they were before as well. So
yeah,
I
agree. It's one of the. Do you know what though? I can't help but have this feeling in the back of my mind. I see no hope for Tottenham, but the more I keep thinking that, the more I feel they're going to do something. It's whenever football has this amazing habit, I think more so than any other sport that I watch, of throwing out shock results when you least expect it. When you're talking about the elite teams, you know, like generally speaking, you know who's going to win the boxing fights, barring a mad sucker punch. You generally get those predictions right. When it comes to like the top 6 playing each other, often when it's just so weighted towards one team, I think you can lose out. But we will see. We're going to do the combined. We're going to do the combined 11 now. We're going to get this up on the screen so everybody can see. This is always fun. Well, it's probably not fun for the Spurs fans. They remember you can get your super chats in when we've picked ours, and you can move players around in whichever sort of direction that you want to put them in. You can get a book opened on that because, of course, we respect your super chats massively here at the Football Terrace. I'm going to go to Jan first. We're going to pick the goalkeeper. I suppose there is only actually I'll go to everyone on this. There's only one choice for the goalkeeper, isn't there?
Yeah, well, it's not nice.
Yeah, there can only be one choice for goalkeeper, 110%.
Only one player getting in his team for Spurs.
Do you know what? I think
Edison's been really good this season.
What was that, Jan?
No, I was saying Edison's been really, really good this season. Like, he's not had that much to do, but when he does have to make a save, he has been making them. So, yeah, I'm happy with Edison this season. It's been really good.
Yeah, he's not been getting beat at that near post so much, which he did quite a few times last year. Full-backs, right back, Doherty, Aurier.
That made me laugh.
I don't know who speak.
All right, where is his face? Someone's going to help me find him because I couldn't find him. There he is. That's him, isn't it?
He looks like Rodri.
They do look at. No, I think that's him.
Who's that? Cancelo?
I don't know.
I think that's Rodri, you know.
I guess they're confused.
They look exactly the same on these little things. It's hard.
No, they do. And after Ed's chopped off, let me just go to the squad here. I've got the squad up. Names next to it. I need to go and check and then look back again. Oh no, that wasn't in. That was Rodri. So I now know what he looks like again. I'm looking at. Do you know what I have to look at? I have to look at their smile.
Yeah.
I can't see anything, bro.
They do look similar. I can't see Cancelo at all.
Is that him?
Yeah, no, I can't see any of them.
Like the light colour shirts, they all sort of blend together.
Oh,
this is terrible. I don't know if it's him or not. I can't even tell. Definitely in there because I remember adding these names. It's not him. That's him. There he is.
The problem, Terry. All the backs look the same, innit? That's the problem, mate. You know what I mean?
You know, the view the point I make to people is that the view that everybody else can see, it's like it's very small for me as well. So I look at it and I'm like, I can't even work out who's who in here. There is 2 Cancelos in there. You're right. It's because of the way we have to add the files in. So when we look at left back, what we saying about left back?
Regular.
That's one I would give to Spurs, to be honest.
Yeah, if we're going with players like overall, not players who are fit, Reguilon is. I think he's one of the best left backs this season. To be fair, he just plays in an unfortunate team that doesn't get many results, and obviously he's injured now. But Reguilon has been great. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that is Rodri that I've put in there. By the way, everyone's telling me. So I'm so confused. Who's that? Who's the person I'm looking at then? I'm looking at Cancelo. Do you know? Hang on. I've got to cover his head up. I can't work it out. It's not even Specsavers. That is him.
That is him.
Specsavers.
Okay.
That is him. So I'm getting confused now. Reguilon, I agree with. I agree with that. The left back area is probably the one area that you say is fairly weak.
If only he was fit.
Yes. Yeah. If only. Centre backs. If we go for individuals here, Jem, who would? We kind of know that Ruben Diaz has got to be in there, don't we?
Don't give us anything.
Yeah, Ruben Diaz is 100% in there. There's not even a debate.
Yeah.
And then for me, it has to be John Stones. I think he's played very well. I mean, you ain't putting the full Derek Dyer in there, are you? Let's be serious.
I would have put him. I would have put him in it now. I would rather play Rodon than Eric Dyer if I had a choice.
No, he's not even in. They're just
I
poor.
wouldn't put him there, but I just mean in my team, I wouldn't play him at all. So.
I got a question for Jan. Was it a penalty pullback on Salah, or did Salah dive?
I think it was a very, very soft penalty, to be honest. Like, he only touched his arm. But Salah knows that he can go down. I think Diaz, being kind of new to the Prem, probably thought that's never a pen. So I do feel a little bit sorry for Diaz, because he wouldn't expect to get that given against him. But Salah's clever in that he knows when he can go down.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Do you know the way I look at it is, I felt like it was a foul, but he still dived. If that makes sense. It was like it was a dive, and that's one of those decisions where if I was a referee, I'd probably lose my job a weekend. But I would give the penalty and book Salah. I'd be like, you did get fouled, but you still use simulation at the same time, no doubt. So let's move to the midfield. We've picked our team so far, 4-1 to City. I mean, that could be the scoreline on Sunday, to be fair. We're going to go for a midfield 3. Who's playing the holding role? Højbjerg?
I know.
Rodri. I mean,
I know Eleanor's going to be like Højbjerg.
I mean, I think Højbjerg is unreal, and I think he's done so well in our team. Rodri, I'm not sure, but I think he's really, really good at what he does, and I think if we're playing a holding role, I think it's got to be Højbjerg, in my opinion.
Rodri's a better player than him, though. I think Rodri's a better player than Højbjerg.
Definitely, I think you can argue that, but I just think I don't know. I think if you're judging Højbjerg, he's done so well, like, you know, for the fact that Tottenham are so poor. You've got to remember, you think about how many goals we'd conceded if Højbjerg weren't there. It's actually scary. Yeah. So he's playing in a much worse team. So I feel like he's done such a good job in such a poor team, like with a poor defense, very poor defense behind him, and he's there to tidy it up. And you know, he has been doing that well. Yeah, he's had a couple poor performances. He dropped off against you lot, for example, but I think overall he's done so well. But yeah, I don't know. Jan, what's your argument for Rodri? I guess.
Now, Rodri's been really, really good this season, so it's one of them. Maybe last season, I would maybe not, but Rodri's been unreal.
Can I ask a question?
If it's overall, you've got Fernandinho as well, who is quality. So, yeah, it's a hard one. I'll let other people choose because it's a hard one.
Let me ask you guys, what precedent have you guys set? Have you guys set the precedent that you're going based on their quality or based on their form this season?
Do
you know what it is, bro? Do you know what it is? On a real level, I know we threw that out at you. It's a combination of the two things. So I always, when it comes to a debate, I never really set those parameters because I don't think they need to be put into place. Where I start to pull, I do that on purpose because I let everyone fall into the trap. If Eleanor was here arguing for Reguilon because she's like, he is outright the best, and we have to go with the fact that he's the best. But then later on said, oh, I get that Sergio Aguero is better than X, but my guy's in better form. I'd use it to throw her under a bus and destroy the debate. So because actually it's based on both, isn't it? It's based on their overall quality and the form they're in. So who would you, the idea is, if you had a choice based on this, who would you pick? And for me, like, if I'm looking at the holding midfield role, honestly, I would go with Højbjerg. If I was picking, not just on form, but I think overall, like everything he brings to the team, I love. I like his doggedness. I love how he wins the ball. He intercepts well. He passes and moves. I actually think he could do a great job in a Pep Guardiola team as well. Like, I really do. So I would pick him. Doesn't mean I dislike Rodri. I think Rodri's excellent, but I base it on both form and quality. Igal, what's your opinion, bro? I'm trying to not have an opinion because I'm hosting, but go on, mate.
So in the midfield for the DM role this season, Rodri and Højbjerg, you can say they both played well, but I'd always take the person who's on the best form throughout the whole season, and I think that's Højbjerg. Even though he's a Tottenham player, I'm going to be unbiased, and I'll say Højbjerg has been the better player.
Okay, so what I'll get a casting vote because it's 2-2. So I will be Simon Cowell here and go in and say we'll put Højbjerg in the team. Now
I got another one.
Give me that. There he is. I got him. He's in the team. Left-hand side of the midfield 3. Who are we going with here? Jan, who would you pick?
I don't know. It's got to be Gundogan in the midfield. I don't know which side he really plays on because he's kind of
plays more left, I think, in terms of that's where Sky Sports put him. But yeah,
I don't really know where he is supposed to be playing, but yeah, he's got to be in there. He's been unreal.
Yeah, Eleanor, would you make an argument for Ndombele? I mean, there are Man United fans that would swap Ndombele for Bruno Fernandes instantly. So, what about yourself?
I mean, I don't think you can argue Gundogan shouldn't be there. He's been unreal. He's been, I think, a changing factor in that City team recently. He's been amazing. So I mean, as much as I love Ndombele, love him. I just think I'm not going to be biased and delusional and say that he should be there over Gundogan, because Gundogan's been incredible. And like Jan said, they've been sleeping on him. Like no one really rated him as much as they should, and I think he's really proven his point.
Proven his worth. How about yourself, Igal?
Yeah, I was told I'm not allowed to speak about Bruno anymore after I made a ridiculous comparison this year.
What did you do?
Remember, I compared him to Bundia. How wrong was I?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, very. Like you are most times.
Okay,
wow.
So yeah, when it comes to midfielders, I have a poor judgment apparently, but I would definitely put Gundogan, and I'm not sure. Would you guys put Phil Foden as a forward, or because he could also play in that position?
Yeah, I think I'd put him in a forward. I think the other one surely has to be De Bruyne, considering we're going on.
Yeah, if we're not going on injuries, it's got to be De Bruyne, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's my favourite player other than a Spurs player. If we're talking about outside,
I was going to go for Harry Winks. To be honest, I thought he was deserves to be in.
We can all bring those
class,
jokes in. Yeah,
you know what?
He's so good, isn't he?
What I love about the Winksy thing is the fact that it's. How do I even put this in the right way? I don't really get where it's come from. For me, as an outside, even though I cover the top six, maybe it's because we've been a lot more Spurs orientated in the last 3 or 4 months on here. I thought Spurs fans loved him. Like, I remember only a year ago on socials, it was like, Winksy, oh, Winksy, we love your unibrow, Winksy.
Yes, I remember that.
And now he has got a unibrow. I will never understand why he just doesn't have that plucked, bruv. Get your other half to pluck it out. I know you can't go to the place now, the beauty, what do they call them? Beauty parlor type things. Is that what they're called this day and age? I don't know. Like, you can't go there and get. Man needs a back sack and crack and an eyebrow wax. That's what the man needs. Where did it come from? Where did it come from?
England, man. England. Remember, he was.
England
come from
England.
Yeah.
Why does Harry Kane get hate? England.
No. Let me explain this.
As an Arsenal fan, looking from the outside, the biggest people who were advocating for Winks were not only Tottenham fans; it was England fans saying he's their solution for that midfield at a certain point.
No one said that.
Bro, everyone was saying that.
No, everyone said he was young. The whole thing is that
no one said that, bro.
Maybe not you, Terry. Maybe not you, Jan.
But everyone was saying that he's young and he's got a great ceiling because he's young. And then he just kept getting older and older. And then he's like 24, 25. And he's still not doing anything. I mean, I think he might be 24, but it's like he's been young for how many years now? And it's like the ceiling hasn't
Benjamin Button
gets older.
Jesse Lingard type thing.
No, I just find it. I looked at him and thought, my views the whole way along were, he's all right. That's just how I viewed him, even from an England capacity. When everyone's talking about build, I heard a few people, Spurs people, say build the midfield around him, and I just remember thinking, why? I never saw it. I just saw Tom Cleverley. I just look at him as a Tom Cleverley level of football player. Do you know what I mean? He's not even as good as Mason Mount. He just isn't, and I find
it. But he's not. No, he's not.
But what I didn't see was how suddenly Spurs fans didn't want him either. For me, it just kind of felt like it was out the blue. It was like, no, we don't like him either. I don't know. Maybe he become unpopular. Maybe it was the eyebrow. I don't know. But he reminds
even
me.
The Gals man, even the Gals man, Jack Wilshere. Even the Gals man, Jack Wilshere was better than him.
You know what happened, guys? It's the new toy syndrome. We all do it.
If Wilshere stayed fit, then he would have. Yeah.
Guys, it's the new toy syndrome. We all do it. We always do it. Every time you got a new player in the team or a new signing or somebody that's young that's performing well, things spread. And after a couple of years, you're like, wow, he wasn't really that good. I'm crazy for comparing.
Oh my God, Gal said something smart.
Gal, you used to do that all the time, mate. You said Torreira was better than Kante.
Let me say this about. Let me say one thing about Igal. Generally speaking, if Igal's not talking about Arsenal, he knows football. It's only when he talks about Arsenal he allows his love of the football club. He is. There's a lyric from one of the greatest bands that's ever walked the face of this earth, where they say love is blind as far as the eye can see. It's a Spice Girls lyric, but it's true. And because he loves Arsenal, he's blind. Like, you're blind to what's actually going on. As soon as you step away from the Arsenal area, you're like, oh, I can see what's what. But yeah, you just love Arsenal too much, bro. It's like, it's obsessive, absolutely obsessive. Yeah, but check out Spice Girls, great band. They were great when I was a kid. No, maybe not so much anymore. Do you know what I love about the Spice Girls? They remind me of being at primary school. And primary school is like the best years of your life because there's no pressure. You know what I mean? Like, no homework, there's no exams. Like, no one was that. Yeah. Someone says Spice Girls, you know. Yeah, bro. Check out the Spice Girls. Their music was just, their music reminds me of my childhood. I'm an old man compared to you, like, so relax a little bit.
Westlife, yeah. Bit of
Your
Westlife.
age, so your age, Eleanor, so it must have been like One Direction would be the same equivalence. So when you were a kid, One Direction.
I'm not that young.
You're like early
One Direction.
10 years ago.
That was like last Tuesday.
25.
Okay, maybe they were a teenager when they were about. So but everyone has that kind of group, don't they? Like,
for me, it was Spice Girls and Westlife and NSYNC. I used to listen to Backstreet Boys. I thought
it was going to be JOS, Eleanor.
JLS.
I did love JLS.
I bet you loved JLS, didn't you?
Peter Girls.
I was in secondary school when that happened.
You used to do this, El, did you do the dance routines at lunchtime in the playground?
I definitely did.
You only pick one.
Yeah, I can tell.
I was in secondary school, so I wasn't like I was a baby or anything.
Do you know what happens though, Steve? Where I went to school, it was like when you're in primary school, it was like the singers that were popular again was Spice Girls and Peter Andre and stuff, like my era. As soon as you got into senior school, everyone toughened up and was like, got to listen to like you could either listen to like indie rock music or you had to listen to rap. If you listen to anything else outside of those two things, you were called all types of names. I didn't care. I used to bowl to school with my Sony Walkman. What are you listening to? I was like, yeah, Frank Sinatra. And what? I didn't care. I pulled away from a lot of modern music because I didn't like the idea that people told me I had to listen to that. Otherwise, I wasn't like in. I don't like to conform like that. So I was like, I ain't listening to any of that junk. I'm going to listen to something that you all think's rubbish. I didn't even like half of it. I just thought it was different. What a weirdo I was. Sweet Caroline. Listen, love. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of Neil Diamond. Everyone's going to have their favorite genre. Everyone's got their favorite genre of music, and a lot of people like to act tough. Oh, listen to rap. Only to hip hop. Only listen to indie rock, man. Yeah, of course. Until you're at a party and Come On Eileen's on, or Sweet Caroline's on, or a Westlife song, and you see those gangsters and want to be cool, like those cool mods, and you see them all mouthing the words, like, yeah, you know the words. I know you know the words. You know what I mean? Flying Without Wing comes on, and there he is, 6 foot. My friend, 6'7" Nathaniel. I know you're watching, brother, because you watch me. He's singing along to your Flying Without Wings, and he pretends I can fly. Yeah, 100%. Well, he's cancelled. He's cancelled. We don't sing that no more. Wu-Tang Clan. There we go.
Someone said Zayn listens to drill music. Oh man.
Who listens to drill music?
Drum music.
Zayn. He talks fast. You don't get it?
No.
I'm just laughing that no one got it, and everyone's just sitting there.
I didn't get it. Sorry. We're gonna go back to picking this. We're gonna go to the front three here. Who are we picking to play on the right-hand side?
I'm giving
Phil Foden.
Here. It's got nothing to do with us. Literally.
I think Phil Foden. What does Son play on the left? I don't even know which side he plays on.
Son's on the left, yeah.
Yeah, so that way.
On the right.
Foden on the right.
Foden on the right. Who's going to play central, L?
Kane.
Really? With them ankles?
You're putting Kane in there, and we're not arguing about this.
I'd put Sterling up front, man.
So I suppose this is the big question. I mean, the final position has to go to Gareth Bale, surely.
Right.
Oh, man.
It's got to be Son.
That guy needs to retire.
It's got to be Son. Why not Raheem Sterling? Raheem Sterling.
Sterling.
Raheem Sterling.
Sterling. Overall.
This is where I think Son's the better player overall.
Go on.
I would have put Son over Kane, and I would have put.
So make
what-
your
yeah.
I would
argument,
have as well.
Eleanor. Make your argument. Saying he's better isn't an argument.
No,
Give me
well, I
your
know, I get that,
better.
but I think against City, especially as well, if we're going to go with again in this game, he loves a goal against City. I think he's just generally. I know he's not consistent. He goes through these purple patches, and we haven't been seeing him like do as great as he was at the beginning of the season. But you can't deny the guy's talent. Like I just think you give him the ball and he's got pace on him, and he runs down that wing, and then he takes a shot. It's it could most likely be back in the net. Like it's very rare that Son misses these chances. I just think Son is a world-class player. I genuinely think he's world-class, and that's why I would say Son should go in, because I think he's a world-class player, and I think you can't deny his talent. But I do understand that he's not as consistent. So I get that argument as well.
What are you saying, Jan?
I don't know. It's a hard one. My front three before I came on the show was Son. I would have had Aguero over Kane just overall, but obviously Aguero this season hasn't featured. And I would have put either Foden or Sterling. I don't mind, because obviously long-term Sterling, right now Foden. That's what I would have put. But yeah, I don't know. I don't mind if in there.
So if we took out Kane and we threw in Son like that and moved him in false start, I mean, it's still a very strong. I mean, that front three could tear you up,
That's the front three I'd go for. That's my front three.
I got a different take on it, guys.
I'm fighting for this.
What are you saying, Igal? What you saying, Igal?
I got a different take on it. If we're going on form, sure, you guys can do what you want to do. But if I'm going, this is the team that I want to win us this one game, or help us win the league, or if aliens came down from Earth and they played this team in football, which team would play to represent the world? You know what I would do? I would go with Harry Kane, Son, and I'll put Sterling on the right. That is what I think is the best combination of the two teams based on this season and form.
Actually, thinking about it, you've got to have Kane in there. You have to over Son.
You're saying if you're going into a final against, like, you need your best 11 from Man City and Tottenham. Yeah. You're not throwing Sergio Aguero in there. Nah, man, I'm not having that. Sergio Aguero is in that team. Surely, I'm being unbiased here. I'm actually being unbiased. I'm taking all my rivalry to the side. If it means the end of the world, you have to play the best team between these two teams. Who are you going to find?
Space Jam. I mean, the best five player.
Yeah,
Harry Kane flops in the big occasion, mate. I don't want big occasion flops. I want Aguero, who's won everything and does things.
Guys, let me ask you. So through the middle, you go 1-on-1. Last 5 minutes of the game. Hey, we're getting a bit of feedback from your end. Have you got any earphones?
I can try find some. I don't know what's happening. It's probably my internet.
Yeah, well, it's just sometimes does it. Sorry, I'll keep it mute till you speak, just because it's getting flicker back. But anyway, through 1-on-1 on goal, who are you trusting to put it away? You got to to save your life. Kane, Son, Aguero.
All day.
Yeah.
Son.
Aguero, man.
Son or Aguero.
Son. It's got, I agree, it might not be Kane, but for me, it'll be Son.
Well, we picked Aguero. 3 Agueros. So Aguero is in. No Son. No Harry Kane in this combined 11. That is how it stands right now. Now, viewers, you can get your votes in right about now. You can send a super chat in to change this if you would like. From as little as 99 pence, you can get a book going on a player and move it forward. It's entirely up to you. But do you know what? With where they sit in the league right now, I mean, it's not overtly. It's not too dissimilar to how they actually line up. I mean, how many Spurs players could actually get into the team?
Son and Kane.
11? Yeah, I think if you put
one of the greatest strikers in Premier League history. Raheem Sterling has been world class for 2 or 3 years on the left. Phil Foden is on fire, and he's better than Bergwijn, whatever you call him. No, I mean, I think that's pretty fair. Højbjerg should be in there. Reguilon's there. Would anybody make any changes? Let us know right about now. Igal, ahead of this weekend's game, where are you at in terms of who's going to win and what's going to happen? Do you give Spurs any hope?
Keep rolling, Tottenham. Keep rolling. You're not winning this game. Man City's gonna keep going. They're gonna stay at the top of the league. They're gonna win this game. And you know, it's just chipping away at Tottenham. We're trying to get back to overtaking them in the league. So Man City, do your job, get it done. I think it's gonna be a thrashing. It's gonna be a 3-0 thrashing.
3-0 thrashing. Do you know what's interesting though as well? Ever since Igal had some spats on here with Spurs fans about you guys are pretenders, and you were like, "Nah, we're not." Ever since then, that's when Spurs' bad form began. Igal he's been sort of like the witch doctor here. Like he's really cast a spell on you guys. Igal's a wizard.
Yeah,
Igal's
when
people in the comments owe me an apology, Terry. The people in the comments owe me an apology about Ederson. Last week I said Ederson over Alisson, and what happened in the game? Everyone knows Alisson had a disaster class. Ederson didn't really have to do much, but still, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people who made jokes and said this guy doesn't know nothing, picking Ederson over Alisson, just goes to show you.
I think it's just a fluke, Igal.
We're saying Igal's a visionary. We're saying
Igal's a visionary.
That's what we're saying.
Well, he got the Spurs thing right. When everybody was talking about Spurs being up there, he was one of the only people that was they're pretenders.
Hang on. I had an argument on it.
The terrace that weekend, and I remember I was bantering Igal. It was like the first time I'd ever spoken to him, and I was sitting there giving it, and then I was like, he's mad, like he said he would talk about terror over Jose Mourinho, and then you see the difference.
I got attacked on the Chelsea. I got attacked on a show by you guys with Spurs when they were sitting first. Everyone was like, "Why are you not putting respect on Spurs, Jem? They can win the title. They're flying high. This, that, and the other." And I was like, "No, they're gonna fall off. I just know they are." Madness.
Do you know what really got me is Jose looked so happy with these signings. Everybody, it looked like there was happiness, and all I got like called out early on in the year by a massive YouTube channel and sort of publication saying that Jose was finished. They took a clip of an old video where I said mentally he was gone when things are going wrong. But he looked like he was happy. The signings were working. He looked happy. The team was delivering how he wants. And I just thought, my fear as a United fan was, imagine he goes to Tottenham and wins trophies with them that he didn't with us, Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues. But again, ever since the kickoff with Dele Alli started, you've just seen things start to dwindle, and I believe there's problems behind the scenes. Baz here, one of our members with a super chat, says Jose always wins games like this to extend his battery life with the board. Be careful, Igal. He does, to be fair. Like, he does have a habit of winning these kind of games. There's no lie in that. There's no lie in that whatsoever. He does have a habit of doing that. Get your super chat questions or your member questions in as well. Terry, if this attack had to save the world would end. 0 Champions League trophies on that list. Specialists in failure. Well, we're only picking between Spurs and City. It's impossible to get a Champions League winner.
Unfortunately, we haven't won one.
It's impossible, bruv. Do you know what I mean? If we do Spurs, Arsenal, City, you can't.
I think he's talking about Bale. He must be talking about Bale. That's the only person I can think of.
No, he's a Liverpool fan who's saying that. But yeah, I hear where he's coming from, but you can't do it. CFC Time here says Igal Judge, Igal the Visionary. Maybe we should change that to your name, Igal the Visionary. I've got an idea when we have finally announced the phase 2 of the Football Terrace that's coming soon. I've got an idea for a weekly Igal thing, actually, that could be hilariously funny. It could. That's coming soon. The Terrace 2.
Call it Igal the Visionary. That's what it should be called.
Here's the team, ladies and gentlemen. A few people are asking to see the team. That is it as it stands. Let me zoom in a little bit closer so you can all see it. Look at that. There it is. That's the combined 11. No super chats in just yet. I think the viewers actually agree with us that this is the best possible combination, all being fit, all being equal, that can be picked. But no Son, no Kane, no Bun, Dom, Bele.
Yeah, but you got no Man City fans because they're hidden in caves, and you got Spurs fans that are just hiding from their clubs at the moment. So,
I mean, I just don't understand. For me, Kane's the best striker in the league. For me, so it doesn't make sense. But anyway,
that doesn't win you anything.
Kane really has.
You have the best striker in the league.
Thank
you. As much as Foden has been brilliant for us, I wouldn't put him above Kane. But I wouldn't drop Aguero out because I think if it's between Aguero and Kane, like you said, if it's a final, it's 1-on-1, I would trust Aguero more than anyone else to finish that off because he's been there.
Igal was right.
Most pressure ever in 2012. He did it. So for that reason, I could never replace Aguero. But Kane should be in there as well. I do.
Igal said Kane had Son. for once actually agree with the gal. Like,
Eleanor, you're not going to agree with the next thing that I'm going to say, probably.
go on,
Maybe you will.
go on.
I don't
I'm
know
ready
if
to
you
hear it.
do.
I'm prepared. I
But
was waiting for
you know, the last game you played, that 5-4, your defenders should actually they're absolute disgrace. How on earth are they letting 5 goals in against Everton? I get Everton are doing good. I get Ancelotti's doing good. I get Ancelotti is one of the top managers historically in the world.
This
But
is a different conversation.
Jose Mourinho is the same man who made fun of Arsenal for conceding 4 goals.
I know. Jose
Like-
Mourinho's is eating a lot of his words he said recently. So, like, I wouldn't really like.
Do you know what
base
you've got?
it on that.
You know what you've got to remember, though, Igal, is don't take half the things managers say seriously. A lot of what they do in the moment. So look at Conor McGregor. Right? A lot of people say he's over the hill. Do you know one thing I think fighters have realized about Conor McGregor is that he used to say all those crazy things in the lead up to fights to get in your head so that when you came into the ring, you were reckless. People have stopped doing that now. They're not being reckless going into fights. They're keeping their cool and they're sticking to their game plan. Jose said a lot of what he used to say to rattle people. And of course, when you try and rattle people, at some point down the line, you're going to hypocrisize yourself. But it's a pantomime. It isn't serious. Like, he knows Arsene Wenger is not a failure of a manager. You know, I remember when he started moaning about Conte celebrating like he did, but that was Jose's MO when he was younger, to celebrate like I remember watching him slide down by the corner flag at Old Trafford, but he said those things to ruffle people's feathers. I don't take it seriously. Strip Bear here says, wow, Eleanor, you can help us pick this. It says 99, so £5 here, £1 for each player to move 5 Tottenham players into the team. To move 5
Tottenham players. I mean, I just want to put Kane and Son.
So okay, so we I'm gonna have to zoom back out because I can't see. So we're gonna put in. He comes out. Son comes in. That's one. Aguero's out. Harry Kane comes in. Who would the other 3 be?
Can't we split that onto just them two so they can't?
It's not what the super chat said. I've got to go with the super chat. Are they control?
Hugo
Lloris.
Lloris.
To put in, you can put Ndombele in.
Hugo Lloris.
Who? You tell me
Lloris.
who. So Ndombele for Ilkay, right?
Yeah.
Hugo Lloris in for Edison.
Yeah.
And what would the final one be?
Dyer.
Yeah, let's go Eric Dyer in.
Put Toby.
Nah, let's go Dyer in for Diaz.
No, Eric Dyer.
Dyer for Diaz.
There he is.
We had another super chat come in that says swap Rodri with Højbjerg. I don't know how much money that is in
Sick.
I don't know. I need to work out what that is for a sec. Sec 20 to GBP. I'm doing a Google search here because I need to work. Oh, that's £2. So yeah, we can actually do we can do that. That would actually work because of what money everyone's got on their heads. So that's another one in. So Højbjerg is out. Rodri, oh God, what does he look like? I don't know. That him. No, that's Diaz. That's not him. That's Cancelo. That's him. There he is. Rodri's in. And Harry Kane's back out again, and Sergio is back in this side. That's as it looks right now with the up-to-date as it gets done. There we go. No Raheem Sterling in the team, but yeah, it's going to be an. I can't wait for this weekend.
Eric Dyer in the team.
We've got two minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes left to have your say on this combined 11. Make sure you're smashing the like button for us. Really important to the football terrace that you get that done. Strip Bear says, want to see the battle. Listen, I think I don't think Spurs fans have got the audacity. You're a Chelsea fan, you did it for a laugh. I don't think Spurs fans have got the audacity to change that team around at all. Oh, in fact, take out all the Spurs players. Oh, look at this. Centurions has come in with a $5 to say remove all those City players now. So we go back to this and we can do it again. Look at that. A little bit of tip for that. I mean, Son is out. Sterling's in. Ndombele is out. Silky Ilkay is back. Dyer is out.
No.
And that means Diaz goes back in.
Ridiculous.
Out.
No, Regular was there.
Throw Mendy in for a bubble. And then the goalkeeper's out. And Edison is back in. There it is. Complete City team now.
Perfect.
Centurion 100 points is not having it. He is not having it.
This is depressing.
I think that's a combined 11 based on this season. Or is that harsh?
That's fair, to be honest.
In fact, Son and Kane are being crucial, but
Son and Kane deserve the place. And Højbjerg. But that's about it.
That's what we used to have been saying for the last 3 years. Son and Kane, Son and Kane, Son and Kane. When are you going to say some other players, man?
It's fact, so I can't deny the fact.
Change it.
Elena, what part of your team is even better than Man City's? They have a better defense, better goalkeeper, better midfield, better
And
attack.
like I'm saying, it's very individual players because we don't have anything better on the pitch overall. Like we don't have a better defense, don't have a better midfield overall. We don't have a better like forwards. I just think we have Son and Kane, which is better. Comments. But yeah, I think it's just Son and Kane, to be honest, that are better, and Reguilon if he's fit.
Take all the Spurs players off. They're already off. That now means it's going to take like they've all got a pound on their name to get back in. So there's a book going on them now. So it's going to take at least £5 just to get anybody back in. So there we go. Spurs are not getting a player.
I mean, I didn't put him over Gundogan in general. So yeah.
There we go. And there's literally a minute left to go, and then the stream's over. Remember, 9 p.m. tonight, Kendall is back with an all-female podcast. They're doing a Jose versus Pep Guardiola debate, amongst other things. So make sure you're tuning in tonight at 9 p.m. Are you on tonight, Elle?
Yeah, I'm on.
Back on the terrace again. So make sure you're tuning into that, people.
I'm just always here now.
Poundland Spurs.
Oh, Terry.
That's how Daniel Levy does his.
I'm a Man City fan.
So
the Leicester
change anything.
Cool, fair enough. I'll get weirded out by that. Something you said earlier, Ellen. Did you say that you got your favorite player outside of Tottenham?
No, like so. If I was to pick a player that's not Spurs, that's not a Spurs player, it would be De Bruyne. If it's not, if I don't have to pick a, like,
I do miss tribalism.
Obviously, Kane and Son.
I know that. No, but yeah. So yeah, KDB is your favorite player outside of Tottenham.
Yeah.
So I just love the era of don't play for my club, you shit. I just missed that. I missed that everything that was, and you didn't really mean it, but it was like, I'm not saying one positive thing about a rival in public. Football's gone for everyone's trying to be Gary and Neville and Phil on socials now. I look at it and go, everyone's always on the fence. Stop twerking for your rival.
I'm not on the fence. I'm saying a good player.
If you're a host, okay, if you're hosting something, you got to be balanced. But when you're on as a fan of a club, say what you really. Often I see people say it, I'm like, you're saying it through bated breath, man. Come on, let's get that done. But listen, everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. It means a great deal to the Football Terrace. It really, really does. We're back tonight 9 p.m. and then tomorrow early kickoff. Leicester Liverpool is going to be a big one. I'm really excited about seeing that game. Huge game for Liverpool. It's almost must win, really. When you look at that, I was looking at the league table a little bit earlier. I start looking at that league table now. A loss. Sorry, say that again, Jem.
1 point.
Oh yeah, 1 point. I mean, exactly. You look at that. You look at the games that are coming up. Chelsea are very likely to win this week on Monday night. It could be devastating for Liverpool to lose. They could fall outside that top four. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. So a big game for Leicester and Liverpool. This game itself that we're previewing now's on, and then of course Sunday's interesting as well with Arsenal Leeds. That's an interesting as well to see what happens.
It could be 14.
Thank you. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God